All right, a very good afternoon to you. You're welcome to the show. It's Good Afternoon, Ghana, and it's a Friday. So we're taking it into the world of entertainment. But in the world of entertainment that we're taking this to, is not going to be, well, we'll have fun at some point. But it's still a discussion of challenges, confronting the industry. I know it has been a discussion over the period, over years, over decades. I mean, from the Arabat Stomp days, we have been hoping and praying and talking and chatting, discussing, trying to chart a good path for Ghana movie industry. But is it paying off? Is it working? Whatever arrangements we're putting in place, is it indeed working, or we are marking backwards? I'm going to have the big guns in the industry who really understand what is going on within the industry with me. I'll have Oscar Provincial with me. I'll have Top Gun producers with me. I'll have role model actresses with me. And we'll be having a very good discussion on what we're faced with as far as the Ghana movie industry is concerned. If you are one that is also very much interested in our Ghanaian movies and the growth of it, and you want to contribute to it, there's red carpet premiering this Sunday at the Accra Mall. I'll be giving you some more details. I've seen the trailer over some days now, or for some days now, and it's gingered me more and more to go and see this movie. Let's see if it's going to take a nosedive, or somebody would say it would take a head dive after I watch the movie. Let's go for a break. When we come back, we'll get into the discussion.
Fame is a curse.
And that curse is my destiny.
It's a monster. It creeps upon you like cancer.
Behind the glitz and glam of every smiling face you see on the red carpet, there's a story.
Spare my life.
And this is how my story began.
Santi has just collapsed in her mansion.
This be the life, oh. I've been living this kind of life. This be the life, oh.
You better wake up from that dream and face realities of life. What reality is it?
Shut up and sit down. I don't owe any explanation to you or anybody else.
How dare you? You are jealous of me, Shanti. You just can't keep up with the fact that I am the reigning celebrity and you are not.
Miss Olivia Martins did not commit suicide.
Kill her!
She was murdered.
You are not just finished, you're dead.
I'm not going down without a fight.
Then get a gun.
I can't take her life.
She already took your life. Do you understand?
There are some things in life you can never explain.
Walk with me. Help me through it.
Can we go another round?
No actress becomes a star by sleeping around with directors.
You can never be a star. And that was the turning point.
All right, so that's the movie that I am actually gearing up to try and go and watch the premiere that's happening this Sunday at the Accra Mall. So I have a little bit of disappointment because I feel crowded in by men. You are looking into my face. Look into my face, well. Look at my face. I'm telling you, I'm talking to you. The one who is looking at me, you know who you are. So even though I'm glad, I'm still sad because I'm disappointed that I won't have Kasum with me. However, I want to wish you the best. I'm hearing that she is not well. Please get well soon because the premiere is just Sunday and we want to see you there. So Kasum's scenario was supposed to be one of my guests. I mean, I don't know if I should use a veteran is too small a title for me. In fact, for all the guests that are with me this afternoon, they are indeed true celebrities that we look up to as far as the industry of Ghana movie is concerned. So, however, I am graced to have Oscar Provincial, who is, I don't know if I should say an actor. An actor is too small a title. I feel we've reduced your, what should I even say? Can you on your mic? Your microphone is off.
It's
yes,
off.
thank you.
Right.
Oh, Oscar, I mean, acting, an actor is too small for me.
I think I prefer to be referenced as such, because that's where my passion lies. You know, you can do other things, but if you ask anybody what's your passion, and you're a great cook, I'd be wanted to be called a great cook than a great banker.
You prefer
So
being called
that's
a
where my
journalist.
passion lies. Everything else is, you know, God gives you a
It's
talent.
extra, right?
He gives you a talent, and you have to be grateful for that talent. You cannot quantify it, you know. And then hopefully when you get as much gray hair as the two of us have and we're still in the game.
It's very interesting to see you in gray hair.
We're exactly very, very humbled by, you know, being here and being still relevant in the game. And so, you know, we're grateful.
Thank you. You're welcome, and good afternoon to you. So I also have Salim Hanawi. Did I pronounce it rightly?
Yes, it's Hanawi.
Hanawi.
Salim Hanawi, Hannawi. Hanawi.
So I think Ghana movie industry is not complete without Salim's movies, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm kind of like being selective as to what I do. But yeah, we're doing what we can.
Yeah.
Not just in the movie, but also in the film space for Ghana, ensuring the structures are being done right so that generations above, if our generation can benefit from the works we're doing, it's fine, but at least the generations after us would come and meet a well-structured film fraternity or film industry in Ghana, especially with the film economy in place. So that's what we're doing. We're using that platform to be able to structure stuff that's solely government's responsibility, but it's our responsibility because we are the players in the game. So that's another side of Salim Hanawi as an advocate for all things film and performance in this country.
Right. Thank you so much. How long have you been producing movies in Ghana?
Okay, put it this way, it's been a very long journey, from documentaries right through to production, right through to running TV stations outside in England, and then back to the motherland to come and continue with the music side, and then also now so if you go back, probably
It's a potpourri of productions.
Yes,
Wow.
yes. This is well before the last 2 days. So if you imagine that last two was formed in my space in East Legon, right through to Obrafo and the rest of them before they all came through. So there's a lot of background to Salim Hanawi in terms of production in the creative world, especially music, and now the film industry.
Interesting. Let me start this interview from this point. Yesterday, I interviewed a politician, and I think after the interview, two of your beautiful ladies graced our entertainment platform. That's an entertainment review program, Jackie Apia and Rosalind Ngiza.
Ngiza, yes.
So I think Rosalind, just when she was entering, this politician met her and they were introduced to each other by one of the producers. So the politician's looking at her and she's like, oh, so you are?
Oh my days.
And I turn and I look. And I'm asking myself, Rosalind, I feel bad right now. Like, you are? Really? I couldn't go close, but I was just observing from afar, and I knew and understood the situation that we are in. I mean, as far as our movie industry is concerned, because Rosalind is one of, as we put in our parlance, big actresses.
She's been working a lot in the background.
A lot.
But she's
in
kind
fact,
of like
she's
cool,
done. Yeah, she is
you know,
cool. Yeah.
And then you got the newbies who are in the industry who are not well au fait with or sort of abreast with the players in the industry. And then someone asks you, who are you? And they're like, well, need I tell you who I am?
There's always a generational issue.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
there are
yeah.
lots of people who don't watch films and don't watch
Yeah.
TV and are not interested in that space. And that's why, for me, it's critical to have people who are, are duty bearers, who are sensitive to what, and then when we talk about film, we keep on just looking at,
Movies.
But film transcends that. I mean, from the documentaries, you have educational documentaries, and film really can be the driving force. And I say it should be the focal point for national development. That's the vehicle, whether it's film and television, that should be the focal point for us in terms of national development.
Right.
If you look at COVID recently, a recent example is the outbreak of COVID. it's our platform that you would use, basically, whether it's for TV adverts or whether it's for film or,
Information
dissemination and all of that. And I think even from a mental health point of view,
Right.
can you imagine being locked up for 1 whole year and not have access to any music, any entertainment, any videos, and things like that? You have a lot of mad people in the streets, and I'm sure a lot of marriages would have broken down out of fear, frustration, and all of that. So there's a mental health cost that is quantified with the contribution of the film industry, and the entertainment industry. And so unfortunately, you need more people who are sensitive to it. And I'll say this, why? When the late President Atta Mills came into office, his passion was what? Hockey.
Okay.
What did he do? He built
the hockey pitch.
Built the hockey pitch. So if you don't have people who are in the decision-making, position, who have that passion for the industry, you're going to always struggle. The industry has spent over 20 years fighting for a law to regulate the film industry. 20 good years. I didn't have gray hair then.
Yeah.
But I've been through the process. I've seen people who started the process, who've died, they've gone, and unfortunately could not see the kind of, time and
Dream
effort
come
and
to fruition.
come to fruition. And so you imagine fighting for a law for 20 years, and to regulate the industry. So we're now at the point where basically the foundation has been laid, hopefully, for a takeoff. And it's just coincided with the downturn of the industry and everything. So I hope we can have a fresh start.
Yeah.
And the film that we're in is part of the films that have been made over the past couple of years, that hopefully will stimulate the regrowth and regeneration of the film industry here in Ghana.
So ironically, yeah, the what's it called? The premiere, the movie that we're actually going to premiere on Sunday is about the life of a celebrity. And if you saw the flyer that we put out before this discussion, it's written on it, a celebrity in Ghana, or being a celebrity in Ghana, a blessing or a curse. And then the movie industry in focus. So I'm not sure how those we call celebrities, we have the movie industry, we have the music industry, we have the, what's it called? I don't know if you have a special industry for the artists. I don't mean music artists.
Yeah,
I mean
arts,
arts,
yes,
creative
yes.
arts.
They do have their own groupings.
They have their own
have
groupings.
And then there's the writers, then the
Writers Association, exactly.
Hairmakers, architects,
right?
You name it, arts
I
and
am
crafts
not
people.
sure how these celebs that they should be are managing their celebrity life. That's even if we recognize them as such.
In terms of people who are not really in film but are doing creative works, is that what you're saying?
Everything
Okay,
creative.
so you will find out that, for example, in the art world, there's the likes of the Chagalls and the whatnots. In Ghana, there are people, your cousin, for example, he's doing a great job. He's a painter. And depends on how you brand yourself. The people who are painting with charcoal, one of the Aquinas boys, what's his name again? The tall black guy? I've forgotten. Anyway, one of the guys we went to school with, fantastic artist, and he would actually do canvas with charcoal.
Charcoal. There are those who do with pencils.
Exactly. And there are people who do sand art.
Yeah, sand art.
And all that. So there are people who are carving a niche for themselves and doing exhibitions on the quiet. If you go to Moving Pick, and also, well, the biggest one now is at which one? What's the next one to Moving Pick? Kempinski.
Kempinski. Oh, okay, the hotel.
With all plastic waste.
Right.
Plastic waste.
Oh, yeah.
And they just sort of melt it and do art pieces with it. And all of a sudden, it's fascinating. He leaves some of the dirt on the gallons and some of the grease on the gallons. But the way he's positioned it from afar, you look at it and think, oh, whoa. And you get closer and you begin to realize that it's a 3D recess of it. And then you stand back and think, whoa, how did this guy manage to think that he could take all this rubbish that normally people within that setting would sneer at? However, it's a beautiful piece of art.
Right.
So art, relatively...
Whoa, so it's a beautiful piece of art by your sight.
Yes. Okay, what I mean by it's a beautiful piece of art is that the presentation of what was meant to be waste is done in such a way that you would love it and hate it, but creatively love the presentation it comes
Literature.
with. And also the presentation itself. It's presented in a beautiful way, it's framed, and you can tell that the outskirts of this piece of artwork in its frame is all very, very neat and very acceptable to the eye, to the environment it's in, because it's in a big hotel, international hotel. But the most important thing is that people are carving a niche for themselves and doing all sorts of things. There are people who, I remember the last art exhibition we saw at the art center, fantastic pieces of paintings on canvas. Now, when you look at the canvas, you would think it was leather pieces that was used to make the collage. But they are materials. But the guy is so intense with his intent to make it look like leather, to a point you look at the material and you think, what? Until you touch it, you realize, oh, it's actually canvas. So there are people who are doing things for themselves.
But linking it to the celebrity status, unfortunately, these are guys who, like he's saying, have made a niche for themselves. They may be celebrities, but in Ghana, celebrities who are not recognized as celebrities. Unfortunately, well, what it is now is those of us in the film industry and in the music industry are the ones who normally are referred to as celebrities. I don't know about the Slay Queens and
well, that's another matter altogether.
And all those people. Don't look at me like that.
No, I'm not going there.
But you see, we have to also look how far we've come. You know, there was a time in Ghana, no parent will allow their child to be a footballer.
Okay.
If you said you wanted to be a footballer, and that's not far away, that's in the 80s.
Even in the 90s. Even in the 90s.
A visual artist, a painter. You know, everybody was considered within the creative space as concert. Why? Because at that time, it was the concert format that really was popular. You know,
so and
we've been tagged with that concept.
Exactly. I was actually coming there. It's interesting you're making that point. When I said you said it's created by your sight, by your own perception. Then my mind went on to the fact that we do not appreciate it because, and sometimes I'm so sad when I hear our screen kings and queens express the frustration that Ghanaians do not appreciate what they produce, what they serve us on the plate. We have not, right from the scratch, we've not been trained to accept that this is our way of life. Live it, accept it. If you go into schools, and most of the times you find that those who are doing the creative arts are those whose, no disrespect, but grades are low, and go and do dondology. Then it's like we're throwing you somewhere, oh yeah, dondology.
You see,
and the mockery starts from there, right from the educational system. Then you come into the central government system where we give very little attention to creative industry. That the whole nation can depend on creative industry, but we just don't know how. Because even the leaders that are in charge, right from school, didn't even appreciate or were not meant to appreciate.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'm wondering, where can we start from? I
think we've started.
I
think we've started. I mean, the picture that you just painted is perfect. The question is, where's the correlation between, that celebrity status or that journey there to the financial rewards and the benefits that come with it? So for a very long time, Ghanaians really, and I'm being generic here from the little that I've don't really want to pay premium for things within the creative space. If you tell somebody that this artwork is $1 million, he'll look at you and think that you are mad. That kind of thing. So we've gone through that, but we can't say that Ghanaians have not recognized celebrities. We've moved through a period, that Ghanaians have reached the peak of celebrity, and celebrity has been recognized by Ghanaians. Remember the days of Majid Michel and Yvonne Nelson? There wasn't a day any radio station was not mentioning their names, and they were sought after.
But when you say remember the days, are they past?
Yes, in the sense that, the industry, for me, it's the law of diminishing returns. I mean, there was a time where if you mentioned David Dontor, he was in every film.
Right.
Fred Amugi in every film. You mentioned, and starring, Jordan Amate,
Jordan
starring.
Amate, yeah.
And the same way when you go into America, you say Arnold Schwarzenegger, you say this. Everybody has a law of diminishing returns. You have your season and your time.
Yeah, I can understand, but if you compare Majid, maybe John Dumelo, Yvonne Nelson, Jackie Appiah, Nadia Boari, maybe Rosaline, then their lifespan within the industry is too short for me.
Well, what has been the lifespan? Have you looked at it? The lifespan is about 10 years,
10 years.
maximum.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, and
10 years maximum.
About 10.
10 years, but then you end up having a bit of relevance.
At the top of the game.
Yeah, and then you can always come back as a performer to come and give yet again sterling performances. So the fact that, one is not appearing regularly on screen, I wouldn't say they've expired. It probably means that they're busy doing other things, or they're being choosy as to what they do. And,
well, it gets to a point where you do that.
And there's all sorts of reasons. But when a performer decides to take a particular performance to come into play with it, trust me, even if they've been sitting back for like 2 or 3 years, they'll come out with a bang. And everybody wants to, make sure that they keep their relevance and stuff like that. But to go back a little bit, you mentioned something about government and appreciation of talent and stuff like that. I think, I've had the opportunity to teach. So I've been in a situation where I can understand there's all sorts of learners who are visual learners and stuff like that.
Right.
People who say, oh, I see what you mean. And the ones who say, oh, I can understand what you mean. These are the cues that tells you what kind of persons they are. So parents and education systems themselves, so you see places like London, for example, I'll give you an example. People would actually do they would interview the ward to find out where their strengths are, to send them in the right places, or the right sort of courses, so that they don't end up appearing to be failures in themselves. Because, you see, if you pick someone who's good at practical stuff, right, and put them in a situation where you're asking them to do maybe something to do with chemistry, for example, you're designing the person to fail in the first place. So it's always nice to sort of do the counseling at some point. The education, Ghana Education Services should have these things in place. The parents themselves should also watch out for what the kids are like. It's always nice to speak to your children to find out what it is their interests are.
I'm very passionate about that point.
Yeah, and then
where
guide them.
We do not pay attention to the interests of children.
Exactly. Somebody might seem like a failure all round, but then put them in the right place. Bang, they're gone. They're gone.
I don't know if I should have a whole discussion on that, because children...
Well, you should. Because
that's a nation-building thing.
These are the things that people don't realize. Everybody's journey starts from that point. Yeah. Your formative years.
Right.
Formative years.
And it's critical, and it affects you all along the way. Your self-esteem, and all of those things come to bear. Your mental health status and all of that. And they see the celebrity at the end of the day, but they absolutely don't know the journey. And that's what this film is about, is that journey as a human being and what you come up against. And I'm sure most Ghanaians will see a reflection of themselves, because we're just a microcosm of the big picture.
Right.
We're no different from anybody else. We're no different from you as a presenter. We're no different from anybody as a doctor or a lawyer or everything. Of course, there are star lawyers, aren't there? Yeah, celebrity lawyers, and all of that. So we go through a process, but, they just see us and they see the glamour. And there's more to it than the glamour. And that's why when you see recently, what's his name slapped Chris Rock, He had a mental breakdown, basically. And if you look at, what celebrities
Chris
go
had
through.
mental breakdown? Or
No, Will Smith.
Will Smith had okay.
Had a mental breakdown, and you'll find out that a lot of them go into drugs, and these are people who have everything. They're earning millions and millions of dollars, but they end up ruining their lives. They don't have successful marriages, they're onto drugs, and their careers plummet, all kinds of things, and you're wondering, why? Why? Why is it that you've been given virtually everything? And you'll find out that the pressures and the systems that are in place are meant to bring you down. So if really...
That should tell you that money is not the ultimate.
Exactly. And have you been prepared enough as a human being?
When people come through, I'm sure you sat through auditioning, or what do you call it? Auditions,
right.
yes. And there are young girls, young men who come and they want to act. What do you pick from them when you give them roles to play? Give me your experience, each of you.
It's pretty easy. This business of performance, you are a performer. This business of performing is about being able to interpret the roles, being able to say yes with an expression that says no. Did you actually notice the expression?
Yeah. Yes.
You're saying, do you want this? I said yes. But that's an expression that's telling you, that's an underlying expression that says no. So we watch out for stuff like that to be able to carry out the expression. You're free to go. That expression alone,
it's like,
as soon as you leave the door,
bondage.
You're getting shot or you're getting killed. Something like that. So these are some of the things, how people will carry themselves, the conviction, just like music, the conviction to carry out the role, how you sort of internalize the character, bringing the ghost alive in you to be able to carry out that.
Are you able to tell or deduce that this individual is not an actress or an actor?
See, let me say something. Art has no measure. Creativity has no measure. So if, for example, you were to have a character to do a delivery of some sort, however that character delivers it in his or her natural state, so long as the character, you see, if you were to have a character deliver something in an everyday situation without necessarily acting, you'll find that people react to things, the same things, differently. So one could say, that was an underperformance or that's overperformance, like overly acting. However, when you put people in an acting situation, you have a responsibility to at least make your performance believable to the audience,
Right.
So that when they watch it, your acting can actually resonate through to them, where they can feel what it is that you're trying to, if you look at some of these Dracula movies and just when he's about to bite someone on the neck, there's no overacting, but you can tell that there's a devil of some sort that comes out to that person before they actually launch.
Yeah.
And then against a priest who's saying, no, this is not acceptable. The delivery alone. So you watch out for these things. And some people who come in and do so naturally, there are people who go into auditions and do be just reading bland. And then you think, well, okay, I know you're reading and you memorized it, but then can we have a performance attached to it so that we can, because it's performance, you're a performer, and you have to perform according to the ghost you are emulating. That's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's really about potential. And the question is, what are you looking for within that person, and is there potential? Everybody has potential, and you need to sometimes pull it out of people, and you need to identify.
Sometimes you have to do that.
Yes, you have to, but you have a situation, and there are different acting styles, and so you can't put one in a box.
The one-dimensional people.
You'll find out that in Ghana, there is this, or I won't just limit it to Ghana. We're speaking English now, okay? So for those who have been brought up with English, the thought processes are different. If you've been brought up through reading school, you've attended reading classes, how to interpret words, how to identify
You have
your
critical
tones,
thinking abilities.
those who haven't done poetry, if you've done poetry, you'll know where to play high and
tempo,
low, and
pace.
do
pauses and the-
pauses
right.
and all of that. Those are advantages that you have, as a performer at that point. And then you have those who are not really conversant with English, and the thought processes now go into
Word
local
for word.
language before coming out in
Trans-
English, and then it becomes something else. And there are those who simply cannot interpret a script. If I gave you one line to say, I love Omo, okay, don't charge me. It can be said a million ways. And if you give somebody a script, they'll read it as it is. They have no concept whatsoever
Of making it come alive.
of making it come alive.
Yeah.
And that's where you get people who, identify people who excel. But all of these things, once again, either they come to you naturally, and then you hone it in, whether through apprenticeship or whatever it is you go through, or whether you've gone to school. But I can tell you there are people who are going to the School of Performing Arts. How many of them are the stars? Most of the stars haven't gone to the School of Performing Arts. So it's not really about, yes, you can be taught all that, but at the end of the day, there's a natural God-given talent which you are birthed with, and then you have to decide that you're going to, add additional skills to it and develop yourself. There are so many ways to look at it. But as an individual, I think that because of the processes performers go through, and if you find any lawyer, any doctor, any of these people in so-called, you find out they're more confident of themselves.
Right.
They're more expressive of themselves. They can face audiences. If you're giving a lecture or you're giving, a presentation, you'll find out those communication skills were born through that process as you developed, through your school or your childhood or wherever. And you'll find out it helps you. I remember there was a time that we were doing 3 plays back to back. It means you have to have retentive memory to memorize 3 different plays. And you're playing them sometimes 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, 1 in the evening. How to retain that, amount of information and know what to do and not mix up all the 3. It takes something else to be able to do it. So when people sit back and they look at you as an actor or a creative person and think that you're dumb, but you can retain three scripts at the same time and deliver each and every one of them, it goes far beyond.
And especially for TV series, because you may have a thick one like this, and especially if you have a pivotal role that spans across 13 episodes or maybe 5 seasons.
But we all can't be lawyers.
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to memorize what your co-actors even
Well,
the
the
scripts.
opposites, yes, because then that's the cues. That's what gives you the cues, really,
that's
isn't
what gives
it?
you the cues.
Exactly.
Because
and
then
you have lighting cues, you have your movements.
Oh, in the script we have lighting cues in there.
No.
Well, this is going more into theater.
Technical.
Technical, and sometimes you do, because you have to remember your positioning, your blocking. They call it blocking. Your movements. You have to know how to do all these things, and it's quite technical. It's quite technical, but we take it as if it's just a walk in the park. I'm sure people are thinking that she's here and she's just talking, so talking is easy.
Arrangements, planning, the whole lot.
That got me laughing.
No, because the thing too, another thing you got to bear in mind is that what we do with the glamour stuff that's happening here in Accra, sometimes in the Kumiwood thing, you would end up having a script for a movie that's just this thick. Reason being, there's no dialogue in there. Reason being, is all scene descriptions. So, for example, Salim visits Oscar, and he's there with you. I'm coming to pick up my money from him. He owes me money, and I get there. I hear you laughing in the room, and then all of a sudden, I'm knocking on his door, and the typical Kumo thing. All of a sudden, the room goes quiet. It's like, Kweku, I know you're there. Open, blah. And then they go on and on and on and on, just to get the scene description. And there's no dialogue. Question at that point is, who takes the rights for the dialogue? Who wrote the script? You give me a scene description, all the wording that's coming from me is the dialogue. Who wrote the dialogue? Am I a writer now, also a performer, in the grand scheme of things?
Do I have copyright
Do I have
ownership?
copyrights for it?
You know,
Is it part of a contract? Have we even signed a contract
having my
that
own
talks
scripts.
about what it is that my rights are? What are the residuals if it's TV series?
You
There's
know,
all
it's
sorts of
interesting you
things.
brought that up because I seem to be on the same wavelength with you, you two, because you're talking about the same thing. I was thinking, I didn't want to ask the question, but now you brought it up. I was thinking about the Kumiwood and our glamorous ones we have, and in my mind, I was thinking maybe it comes across as though the Kumiwood actors come more natural. It's like they already know what to say. Let's go.
The reason being, there's no dialogue. So if we all understand that this is what we're supposed to do,
There's
we
a
just
scene
rub heads
description.
together,
There's no
and there's
written
no
dialogue.
dialogue. So and even if you're doing a complex scene with just one camera, and it's not 5 cameras that are taking your reverse. For example, I'm having a dialogue with you. It's got me. There's another one on you. There's a reverse scene, and then maybe a third one for a 2 shots in there. By the time we do it I deliver once, and it's beautiful. It's on point. It's a cut. It's done. But if you're going to be doing reversal scenes and then you go from wide cuts to medium cuts and close-up cuts, especially where there's an expression of some sort on the hand,
continuity
or the
becomes
continuity,
challenging.
and then you got to remember what your continuity is to make sure, because you don't want to say something and by the time they cut when your hand was here and they come and do maybe a medium shot, your hand is somewhere there, which doesn't add up.
But I also think it's a language thing.
Yeah, but
With the Kumiwood setup, it's local language. It's mainly local language.
That's
and you
our
find
language.
out
but
that-
unscripted. That's what makes it come out as though it's all natural.
I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that there's a natural body language movement with local language. You know, it's just a local. The thought process is different.
Yeah.
Your thought process is, when it comes to the English language now,
It's slow.
it's slower.
Yeah.
So for them, it's natural. And I've always said that, look, at the end of the day, film is about it's an investment. It's one of the key things, is an investment about making returns. People used to look down on the Kumiwood films. I mean, I think I probably at one point was one of those people.
There's a market for it.
But if there's a business format and there's why not? If you spend 5,000 Ghana cedis to make a movie and you can make a profit of 100,000 Ghana cedis, Ashanti Gold Fields will close down and be making films. That's a great model, and that's what Nigeria is now benefiting from. They've made these
movies.
They've made these low, budget movies, but a huge population, big returns, and that's what's now attracted the international. Netflix has come in there. I think Channel 5 from France is in there, supporting the industry and providing funding for the industry. So,
Just a moment.
Yeah.
We'll go for a quick breather. Frances Essiem? She's a politician.
Yes.
You know her?
Yes.
She's actually currently the CEO for Ghana Cylinder Manufacturing.
Ghana Cylinder
Manufacturing Company.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's watching. She says, Annie, today, dear, you do a solid program with solid people, very respectable panel. Thank you. So, she's always monitoring this program because she thinks that I'm after her political party.
Well, that's okay.
So today, I
don't
shocked
mind.
her.
That keeps people
I
on
guess
on
well.
their
We don't
toes.
mind.
Right.
We don't mind. We'll support you.
Let's go for a
Yeah,
quick
but you
breather.
see, the film industry can be political.
Yes.
I mean,
And it is
and the
political.
creative space. I mean, there was a time in France and in Russia, if you were an intellectual, you were beheaded. Yeah, during
Wow.
the French Revolution and the
Yeah.
Russian Revolution. If you wrote poetry, if you did any of those things, so when you really read the history of the creative space, we just take it from the entertainment side of view.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
you know, when you look at it from a global perspective, we're equally as
It's a
important.
wild environment.
Oh yes, yes.
Let me take just a quick breather. When we come back, I'll give you a brief about what's going to happen on Sunday at the Accra Mall. We'll be back shortly. All right, you're welcome back. We're still on Good Afternoon Ghana, and we are taking a view at our movie industry, and very quite passionate discussion ongoing. I saw something yesterday, no, 3 days ago, on Dstv, Rock GH. I don't know who populates that channel.
And the wife Mary Njoku. It's a Nigerian-owned, it's a Nigerian-owned channel. And they also have the Iroko TV app.
Rock GH is it's a Nigerian-owned channel. And what they gave it to us? Or what's the deal on that channel?
It's meant to be on DSTV, isn't it? The ROK1, ROK2, and the GH version. I have a feeling that
it is on DSTV.
Yeah, Abdul Salam is also. Is probably. I heard there's something going on where.
So guess what? I usually would tune into the Ghana. In fact, I will flip through all the Nigerian movie channels and then go through the Ghana channel and try to do comparisons.
Okay, so what I think is happening here is that the same thing that happened in Nigeria, where you had the Igbo channels,
right,
and then you had the Hausa channels, and then also the Yoruba channels.
Right.
So the Asaba people got sort of basically divided it into the language channels.
Okay.
And they're beginning to realize that with this new wave of the Ghanaian film identity, as in the Ghanaian film or the Ghana film production space, we ought to now have the Ghanaian film, because we've been hidden behind the Nollywood wording and tagging. And whereas that is not such, it's not such a bad thing. We could continue using it.
So let me tell you why I saw.
At the same time, bring the Ghanaian.
That threw me off. I got upset and changed the channel to CNN.
Yeah.
If I will watch what I was seeing on that channel, I'd rather watch CNN.
Right.
So I changed to the channel and I saw one of these telenovelas, and it had been
dubbed.
Sorry, dubbed into Akan.
Akan, yeah.
But we had subtitling of English. And I'm watching some Indian or Chinese face with a Ghanaian speaking Ghanaian language with a subtitle of English, and that. What the heck is going on this channel?
So that's a very interesting area. And believe you, by the time we have this little, let's say if I dedicate about maybe a minute or so to this conversation, you probably shifted paradigm.
So much.
Wait, let me tell you something.
We're wrapping up.
See this airtime business of filling your content space and also marketing of movies and stuff like that. The channels may go and get maybe per episode $250 per episode or cheaper. Bring it in, spend a bit more money, and invest in our talent to do the language overdubs. You see, movies these days, when you produce one and it's in English and you want to take it to France, our tree will be no different from doing an English movie and doing another track where it is in German with English subtitles, or is in Russia with French subtitles or English subtitles, whatever the case may be, to do so. So first of all, you got to look at every tree that you hear that is giving you a yin and yang feeling about what you are watching. You got to realize that unless they are not paying our talents, our voice performers, right? Because there are voice performers involved in this.
Yeah.
The studios in this country that may be earning money from these translations. So it's a whole economy that's attached to this. However, I can see what you mean, that how are we filling our ad space with such foreign content? But here it is that we need to wake up to. You see, in the medical field, what do you call it? What's the word with it? When they give you a piece of medication that's not really medicine.
Placebo.
Placebo effect. I wrote extensively on the placebo effect with regards to this. If we are beginning to realize that the masses are beginning to watch the placebo effect, and the masses are watching such films coming from India or Spain or wherever it is, and we want to get the audience watching that kind of thing. The question is, if we have to take it away, what Ghanaian productions can we give them that is close to that? Remember, most of these films that you're watching, if you watch critically, you'll be thinking, why are people liking it? First of all, there's a lot of eye candy going on. Eye candy in terms of sets, in terms of presentation. So, because they didn't shoot it for local for local style, they shot it for the international style. So you're enjoying this international thing that's been brought to you that ordinarily, if it was in English or it was in Indian language or Gujarati or something, you may not understand it. And if you was to subtitle it in English, you still wouldn't understand because you're predominantly maybe Ga or Tree or something or Dagbani or something. So this is what's happening. They're bringing us content that is cheap for them to buy, taking the airspace for whatever airspace that we are legally giving them in terms of local content space on our television space, adding the Tree language to it to make it interesting for the consumer. So the question, like I said, if we're going to take it away from them, what can we give them as a placebo effect?
You know, but even
to be able to
even beyond that, from a business,
he is a producer, so I can understand where he's coming from. But I still won't take it.
No, I'm a producer, I'm a writer, and an actor.
From a purely business point of view, you're finding it difficult to process this. And I've heard all the arguments of why we, got Indian speaking, tree and things like that. Listen. What's the population of India? What's the population of China?
Can we ask Siri?
Thank you.
We can get it. I mean,
yes. Can you imagine? And there are there are probably a billion, couple of billion, 2 billion or so.
There are a lot.
Can you imagine breaking into the Indian or the Chinese
with a Ghanaian movie?
That
would be nice.
And I'm asking you, how do you expect them to understand the Ga?
So
how do you expect them to understand the Tree? If you don't, if you don't subtitle it, you will miss out on that market.
Oscar, let me cut in here. India's population, 2021. I don't know why they're giving me China. Why are you giving me China?
Oh, even China is a good example. They're not too far apart.
Okay, that's 1,393,409,000.
Huge market.
38
huge. It's a huge market.
Huge, we're 30 million.
30
we're 30 million. We're not even able to penetrate.
But my question really is, and I was interested in the population.
All Nigeria's market.
My question is, how are we able to help them, an over 1 billion population, market their products, and we are under 1 billion, 30 million for goodness sake, and the small market we have, we cannot manage and push it, and we want to bring this to ambush our market.
It's a business decision by the channels, and there's a conscious effort going on to what's called a local content space on television.
Okay.
So we do have, what is it supposed to be, 70-30?
70-30.
70%. 70-30 we're supposed to be put in. But the question now is that in the film funding space in Ghana, how, even if we're given the 70% to fill it in, how many productions are we actually doing to fill up that space? And that's no excuse.
Yeah.
However, if the government would take this serious, just like we have the National Film Authority at the moment, and the act itself says that there shall be or exist a film fund, and the film fund is not in place, and the people that are supposed to be advocating through the NFA, even a common thing like the LI, which when I speak about gets my back up. Yeah, they can't even advocate for that LI to be passed in law so that it will support the film.
That's what Oscar was saying. The interest is not.
And so why are you bringing the money? And then all of a sudden, you're not producing the number of content.
I was speaking with Shadrach some time ago, and I said, Shadrach, why are we not able to produce Ghanaian historic movies?
There's so many stories.
So many
stories.
Before I get back to that, let's always remember that you have to have a conscious mind as to what you think the creative space, art, culture can do for your country. Nigeria recognized that for them to get into our market, What did they do? They brought in films and gave them free to be played on our TV stations. There was a time our TV stations were flooded.
Yeah.
What happened? Ghanaians were weaned onto Nigerian films.
Yeah.
And then they came in.
Start
and took
producing,
over,
adding
right?
our Ghanaian performers.
You will find out that China is having that same strategy. They're having problems in the world. So what did they have? They have a cultural policy that says you need to penetrate Chinese culture. We're sitting here in Ghana and we don't give a damn about these things.
Next thing you know, you go Star Times.
We don't even care about our, exploiting to the maximum the potential that the industry has for the country itself. So even assisting to support those structures has taken us 20 years or so or more of serious battling. So look, until our leadership recognizes that this is not just limited to Ghana, there's a narrative out there about the African, the inferiority of the African. It has been pushed, and it's been pushed methodologically, for many years, and set a mindset that we ourselves look at ourselves in a very negative manner. How do you unravel that? I remember the days we used to watch Tarzan, and I used to think, but we don't swing in trees, and we don't run around with raffia skirts all over the place, and with spears in our hands, and
you Jane, me Tarzan, hunga bunga. Aha.
You Tarzan, me Jane.
Yeah.
No, and that is questionable these days. Me Jane, we go to the LBC.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's a lot that they have used, to brainwash us, to give us a certain, narrative. We don't have to reinvent the wheel.
So
we need to turn it around, and it is through our medium.
Even before you go on to even our transmission space, from the NCA right through to, and all the satellite communications that we have, and imagine we've got a lot of Chinese content coming into this country, and if they've got their hands in this, they've got their hands in this country, and they onto our
what was
our
the
TV
Chinese
space.
film we used to watch back in the day?
Snake and the Monkey Shadow, or
Snake
those
and
ones.
Monkey Shadow. No,
Oshin, and there was another more popular one that they used to.
The
Monkey King.
What was that called?
But you know what I want? I want people to begin.
Shifu.
I want parents. I want parents.
You're telling your age, you.
I want parents to start critically looking at the content their children are consuming.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you look today at the cartoons that children are watching today,
It's so perverse.
They're fusing them with LGBT,
LGBT
plus issues. And
obviously you're anti-LGBT.
Well, no, but it's
not really.
also very so much violence.
You
see people bashing
what you
cartoons,
feed to
bashing
children
each
is
other.
one thing.
Yeah.
What you feed to children in their formative ages is, if a fully grown buffrot like my brother here decides to do whatever he wants to do, that's his problem. But what my child consumes is something that I'm concerned about.
We're going
and
to
if
have
you watch the mini skirts, and now they do it with the cleavages moving and all kinds of ridiculous dressing that is influencing our children today. And I think
I will set that aside, and let's
concerned about
see if
these
we have a
things.
future for even children within the movie industry. Maybe very soon, and then I'll have Shadrach organize you, and then we'll look at that again on what we put on the screen. I remember I watched a video recently of Pastor Chris Nigeria, and he was talking about calling ourselves black, and you have no idea if you Google or just go and search the meaning of black. If you search the meaning of black, I'm not going to tell you now because at least I listened to him, so I know. But go and search it yourself and find out if you like to call yourself black. Call yourself African. Call yourself, I don't know, Negro. Is Negro offensive?
It's a huge narrative that has to be.
It's another.
And everything associated with black is negative. And we bought into it.
Yeah. So now the challenge we're having, people, our celebrities say, oh, you don't appreciate me. It's not that we don't appreciate you. It's because we have so much infiltration, we have cultural confusion right now. And we are seeing standards upon standards. Now you don't have to travel to see much. You just have to go on your phone. And you see a lot, so we are comparing and we are, contrasting, and we know which is good and which is bad. So what we're producing, we're not appreciating. There's so much work to be done. But let's do red carpet is Sunday, and then maybe another time we'll do this again.
Okay, so yes, red carpet is premiering on Sunday. at both the Silverbirds and the Silverbird Cinema at Accra Mall and at the West Hills Mall. You're going to have the interaction with the stars at 6:30 p.m. The first films will be at 7 p.m., second one will be at 9 p.m. And then on the May 2nd in Kumasi, it will be premiering in Kumasi, I think 6 o'clock and 8 o'clock at Kumasi City Mall.
Right.
So,
Salim.
Yes, with regards to red carpet. Oh yes, he said it. He's given itinerary away already.
Great.
So yeah.
Do you have tickets to give out or sell from the Metro desk?
Hey, hold on a second. Whilst we're here, if you want to do a promotion, I've got my promo tickets. I'm happy for us to use it to do some promotions. Use it for your audience right now.
Okay.
And I'm giving you 5 tickets of my tickets.
Oh, great.
Do it. Use it. And
Okay,
then,
so
and then I'll have 5 tickets drop you.
okay, so I think what I'll do is I'll be expecting first 5 messages on my phone. I don't have time. They're sucking me off the studio.
Okay, so if you can have your people do the calling at some point.
Yeah.
And well.
Okay, we'll use it on other programs.
Another program.
Yes.
Oh, well, let's not give it away then.
Oh, no.
But if you prepare them now, they're going to go and look for.
Oh,
have dedicated questions then to make sure they
enough
qualify for it.
Okay, so
however, the 5 is being granted and is yours
right,
to keep.
intimate review is coming up. And I think Desmond is leading the team. So we'll get, it's just about seconds away. So Desmond will help us, give out the tickets. If they open the phone lines, we'll just give it out for those who will call. Francis says, has registered for one already.
Hey, what did he do to earn it? He has to answer some few questions. Come on, we're not giving it for free.
No, if I don't give
mention the cast, the whole cast, if he has to do it now.
Frances, but she doesn't know much. Frances, can you mention the cast?
If she doesn't, she ain't get no ticket.
One person.
Not one person.
Give me one
You're already
name.
here.
Frances, you're on the phone, so just give me one name of the cast of Red Carpets.
And she can't be pragmatic either.
Okay, I just play the what's
Apart
it called?
from us.
Apart from
the
us.
trailer.
Yes.
I just play the trailer, so you should be able to mention one. Oh, she says I will pay.
She'll pay.
That's nice.
You want to give her free tickets?
No, she doesn't want free. She wants to
should mention
contribute to the
something.
industry.
Well, thank you, Frances,
Frances, in fact, once you're going to pay, buy 10.
Okay, great. Great. For the first time, I will attend the film premiere, Red Carpet, but I will pay. Oh, she says Kalsum scenario.
And then we won't allow her to pay, so she should
pay.
come.
No, she will pay.
She's telling her she should
If
come.
she says she will pay, I will let her
people.
pay. But thank you so much for coming. I wanted to speak with Kalsum Scenario, our legend. She's a legend. I love her so much. I mean, there's so much to tell about her. She has an interview with me. So get ready for that. Get well soon as well. She couldn't make it, but I had, of course, Oscar Provincial with me, also a legend I love so much, and Salim Hanawi, who is one of our legendary producers in the country. Appreciating so much that you came on the platform. My name is Ania Fampo. For this has been Good Afternoon, Ghana.